What's up, guys? It's Diamond Dan back again with another one. So today we're going to be breaking down a few winners and losers when it comes to the free agency period. So overall, this has been a wild free agency. Probably the most player turnover I've ever seen in one free agency period. So many different names, big names going leaving teams and going to new teams. So overall, I wanted to do a quick breakdown. All right, but let's take a second and break down the three best teams who killed it so far, and then we're going to take it and break down the three teams who I think had the worst free agency, and then we're going to do it on a grading scale from A to F. All right. So let's start off by talking first about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the reason the Bucs flat out to me get an A for free agency is because they were the first team ever to win a Super Bowl and then return every starter from that Super Bowl the following year. All right, so mad respect to Jason Light for sure, and the Bucs leadership. They were able to return Godwin, Barrett, Sue, Gronk, Fournette, etc. And then they also added players like Giovanni Bernard, who's a good pass catching back, and then also they're bringing back players like O.J. Howard. All right. So with that being said, a Super Bowl winner, and on top of that, they have all 7 of their draft picks still so far to kill it in the draft. I mean, overall, that's awesome. So flat out, I think the Bucs deserve an A in free agency, and honestly, they're in a great status of their franchise. And at the end of the day, I think that they're going to be the main contenders and main team to beat this year. And then a close number 2 is the Cleveland Browns. So due to the almighty John Dorsey, all right, probably the most disrespectful GM of all time, the GM who really drafted Mahomes and turned the Chiefs around in 2013 when they brought in Alex Smith and Andy Reid. Also, he turned the Packers around, and then also now the Browns. Okay, the Browns are in a great spot right now, and all the new GM Andrew Berry has to do is keep steering the Titanic in the right way. Right, don't let it hit an iceberg. Now, the Browns were a play away in the AFC Championship from being in the AFC Championship. So, and all they've done so far since that game is kill it in free agency. So, mad respect to Andrew Berry. All right, he's a good GM so far. And also, too, he was able to sign Jadeveon Clowney. I know the guy's injury prone, but if Clowney stays healthy with Garrett and him rushing at the same time, oh, man, that's going to be insane for opposing QBs, all right? Barry also grabbed the best safety in free agency in John Johnson, and then also the best nickel cornerback or just regular cornerback, Troy Hill, okay, from the Rams. That was the number 1 defense last year, and he snagged 2 of the starters from that defense. They were also able to grab Malik Jackson and Takk McKinley. All right, so that's going to be good rotational players. So the Browns have done nothing but get better in free agency. So I just think it's been an overall awesome job by Andrew Berry so far in this free agency period. And not to mention, they have 9 draft picks coming up in the 2021 draft. All right, so Berry's just got to nail those picks. And overall, I think they're Super Bowl contenders, man. I really do. So overall, I got to give the Browns an A for free agency. Then we can't forget about the other boy in the band, the Patriots. So apparently the first losing season in 2 decades with New England lit a fire under Bill Belichick's ass because no team in the NFL has been more active in free agency than the Patriots. On offense, the Pats signed 2 of the top tight ends in the open market, Hunter Henry and JOHNU Smith, which I love that, especially if they run a lot more 12 personnel. So via trade, they got from the Raiders, Trent Brown, who they just traded to him. That was wild by the Raiders. Then they re-signed guard David Andrews, right, which has been their stable at center, and they brought Ted Carreras back, which would be he's an interchangeable guard or center. Great for offensive line depth. So offensive line has improved, and then they signed Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne, who should also add more pop to that one, to one of the more weaker wide receiver classes in the league. So again, I know they're not the amazing signings for wide receivers, but I think they're going to help. Then there's defensive additions as well with Jalen Mills, who adds experience and versatility in the secondary. And then Matthew Judon, who again, he's got a skill set, man. The guy can play. Not a huge fan of Judon. He's not as good as Darius Smith, but he's a good player. So he's going to help bolster that defensive line. And then along with Judon, they signed Devon Gottschalk, who is a D tackle from the Dolphins. I think he's going to be a good situational D tackle. And then same thing with Henry Anderson, which is very, very underrated 5-tech that's been playing for the Jets. Him coming to the Patriots, he's going to be a mean bull rusher for Bill on those first and second downs and even in some pass rush situations. So, overall, I think I really like that signing. So overall, if Bill just nails the draft along with what he has and what he did in free agency, they're going to have a top 5 defense, and I do think they're going to be in the mix for the playoffs in 2021. So overall, great free agency. I got to give him an A- to B+ for the Pats. Now, let's talk about some of the teams that struggled in free agency. Okay. So the first team is the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Green Bay Packers have fallen 1 game short of the Super Bowl each of the 2 past seasons. Okay. And as they head into the 2021 draft, the Packers aren't really worse or better than they were in 2020. They're kind of just where they're at. And I do think that there was some key moves they could have done to make it better. All right. Green Bay has lost some players in free agency. So chief among them was center Corey Linsley, who signed a 5-year deal, $16 million deals with the Chargers. That is one thing I didn't agree with. Then they go and they sign Aaron Jones to a 4-year, $48 million deal. And they re-sign Kevin King. I like Kevin King, but they need to make sure he's in a specific role because he gets burnt by fast guys like he did in the AFC Championship. NFC Championship. So Kevin King is a situational guy, man. He can't lock up anybody. But losing Corey Linsley, man, that's the one I have a problem with. He's a little bit older of a center, but he was the best center in football last year. How do you let him walk? Right? But you sign your running back that you really don't need because you have A.J. Dillon sitting there who's a beast. I don't know. I just don't really agree with it. The Packers are still a great team, right? And they're easily going to be the favorite to win the NFC North, and I think they're gonna. But and again, they didn't have the resources to go and spend in free agency. Their cap space was kind of in a bad situation, but they have still had a stubborn refusal over the last few years. They can't even let Aaron Jones walk and sign Will Fuller, right, to give that other player opposite of Devontae Adams, but they still didn't do that either. So I just don't get that point of it. I don't know why they haven't upgraded that aspect of it. I like Lazard, I like those guys too, but at the same time the Packers could be unstoppable, man, if they just made a few different moves. So overall, not a great free agency for the Packers. I got to give them a D+. All right, now to the next team, the Steelers. So the Steelers started off 9-0 last year, and since the Week 10 loss that they took in 2020, I've never seen a team fall off a cliff so fast. I'll be honest, they still got a solid defense, all right, so they're going to be competitive no matter what. And with Big Ben and those receivers, they'll be competitive on offense, all right? But they've lost a lot of O-linemen, unfortunately. And then, just in general, the Steelers are in a bad position because of their cap space and just the overall people they've lost in general. Now, they did re-sign Juju, to affordable 1-year deal, so I get that. He needs to show the fuck up this year. But that's really where the good news runs out. Now, Pittsburgh lost 2 of the 3 top corners, right, and Steve Nelson and Mike Hilton. And then they also lost Mike Pouncey, right, their center that's been there for years on that line, which has been the centerpiece of it. They also lost left tackle Alejandro Villanueva, right, which is a beast. He just, people don't know who he is, really. And then also they lost James Conner, thank God, because with James Conner, I've never seen a running back get that terrible in that short of a span. He went from an elite player in 2018 to just shit in 2020. And then edge pass rusher Bud Dupree. People kind of give him a tough time, but he's talented, man. Him and TJ had one of the best tandems in the league last year in pass rush. So they got a lot of holes on both sides of the ball, all right? And they don't have the salary cap to really fix it. So even if the Steelers ace the 2021 draft, it's still, I don't think the team that takes the field in September week 1 is as good as the team that they had in 2021. All right. I still think they could be competitive, but honestly, it's possible. But that championship window for the Pittsburgh is now closed, and they should be in rebuild mode here soon. All right. Could be wrong, but it's just kind of my feeling on it. So overall, for free agency for the Steelers, I got to give them a D for overall grade. And then the last team, the Texans. So if we graded the Texans based on quantity, Houston would get an A+, right? They added offensive lineman Marcus Cannon, who's, been in the league for 11, 12 years, still pretty good. Edge rusher Shaq Lawson, which is decent. Mark Ingram, who's about 35 years old. I don't understand that signing. Tyrod Taylor, which is a good quarterback, good backup quarterback in case your quarterback goes to prison. And then running back Philip Lindsay, he's a beast, so that was a great signing, actually. Lindsay will be that number 1 there. If not, they're nuts. Christian Kirksey and Kruger Hill, which, again, are guys that are good, but they've always been hurt, and they're just guys, man. They're not going to make a significant difference. Then they let J.J. Watt go. They let Will Fuller go. If the Texans are going to be in full rebuild, I don't know why they just didn't go into full rebuild. Why are they trying to sign so many people? They signed more people in free agency than any other team. So my opinion, I just don't know what they're trying to do. What is Nick Caserio trying to do? If you're going to rebuild, go in the full rebuild mode, man. Fucking let it hang, save your cap space, and then rebuild your team next year. But again, it is what it is. I think the guy thinks he's Belichick, but we'll see how it goes in the first year. But overall, just a bad free agency, man. There's all just a bunch of names that he signed. No one really good, and that's going to make that much of a difference. So overall, I got to give the Texans a D grading for free agency. So, all right, guys. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you liked the quick free agency breakdown. I'm next. I'll be talking about some NFL prospects for the 2021 draft. But again, if you like the video, hit the like button. Also, too, leave a comment button or anything if you want to debate. All right, guys. Peace.